Well, people keep breaking stuff. This is a 2009 Honda Pilot. This is the Touring Edition. And a customer had this towed back to their shop because they said at first it wouldn't go into reverse. And then some message popped up on the dash that said check charging system. So you can see from screenshots that there's no code stored in the PGMFI, which is the ECM for the engine, and there are codes in some other things, including one low voltage code. So this is the first time I've really gotten to see the vehicle. I put a charger on it. It was at about 8 volts when it first got here, and with that you can't really diagnose anything, you can't start the vehicle and see what's going on. So put a charger on, 6 amps for about 3 or 4 hours, and now we are at 12.2 volts. So that should be enough to go ahead and start this vehicle and make sure that it is putting out voltage out of the alternator. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the charger. We're going to start this vehicle and see what happens with that voltage. It should be 13.5 to 14.5 volts, depending on what the ELD tells it to do. Alright, and running, we do get 13.5. That's a good sign. We're going to go into the PGMFI. Now up to about 14 volts, because this might not be a problem with the alternator, even though, you know, it should be charging, and we were getting the low voltages. It could be a problem with the ELD, the wiring going to the ELD, or possibly something else. Again, right now we are not charging, so it went up to 13.5, just dropped down to 12.4. That is not enough to sustain it, so let's go ahead and type in here alternator. We're going to select all of those. Alright, we got a high signal on the alternator. It's asking for 14.5 volts from that alternator. And we're getting 12.2. So it's sending a high signal saying, give me everything you got. Give me all of the duty cycle. Well, it's not happening. So what we've got here is typical alternator problem. It theoretically could be a bad wire from the back of the alternator. So let's check that out quickly. In good shape. So it looks good. I don't see anything broken, so we should be good. So we're going to go ahead and replace this. Obviously you can see what the issue with this alternator was. And there was a significant leak going on prior to that valve pause valve or solenoid, VPS, valve pause solenoid, being replaced. There was an oil leak there, and that appears to have killed the alternator. So we're going to get this thing replaced with this nice Reman Denso unit. Picked that up at my local Napa, in stock. Let's get it installed. Interestingly, you'll notice right on this new alternator, or Reman alternator, there is a tag warning you that if you don't fix the oil leak, that it will void the warranty, because there is a TSB for that valve pause solenoid leaking, causing that. causes this to be replaced. One more quick tip. Before I go install this and try to get this new one down in the place where this one was, I have a tip here. So I fought it before where you go to put it in and it just will not go into the bracket. And what's happening is this right here is an adjustable sleeve. Okay, and you can see it's sticking in a little further here, right there. And what happens is when you put this in the bracket and tighten the bolt, it kind of self-adjusts to the width of the bracket. But if it's sticking out too far, it will never go into the bracket. So I like to take a quick measurement here. And we've got 46 millimeters. All right, I'm just going to verify that I was at 0. All right, it was 0. So 46 millimeters. Now we're going to check the new one and see what it is. And you'll notice we're at 45.72. So it is going to slip in place, and it's actually got a little extra clearance so that we don't have the problem of trying to fight it going into that bracket. New alternators installed. Way down there. All right. We had the battery charging the whole time with the negative battery post or terminal disconnected. So right now we're sitting at 12.88 volts. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the battery charger. We're still sitting at 12.8 volts. Now we'll start this vehicle up and see what the voltage is while it's running. All right, good quick startup. $14 volts right off the rip. That should stay that high. Everything sounds good. Belts in alignment. $14 volts at idle. That's good. Go ahead and call this one fixed. Alright, so just as a verification of the repair, back into the scan tool. You notice here, alternator control says between. The percentage of duty cycle is varying. This just said high just a second ago. I don't know if you saw it switch or not. But yeah, it is commanding it. It's going up and down, and this vehicle is now charging correctly.